What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more of Gary Numan's Tubeway Army, and we're going to listen to yet another bonus tune included in the expanded folder for the 1979 album Replicas, and that is We Are So Fragile. Generally speaking, systems are fragile, and biological systems maybe more than any others, which is to say external damage, internal disruption, physical trauma, emotional trauma, all these things can cause serious and perhaps fatal conditions for biological systems, and thus humans and other living things are indeed very fragile, and obviously time itself can wear down organs and other subsystems of biological systems. So that's all a long way of saying I wouldn't be surprised if this is about a living thing, and yet given Tubeway Armies and Gary Numan's more generally lyrical themes and recurrent concepts, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about something not fully human, but instead an android, a cyborg, maybe something that is entirely mechanical like a robot. So yes, those systems can be fragile as well, even if in some respects, and at least materially, they might be more durable, although perhaps not with the self-sustaining or indeed self-restoring or maintenance type of processes which allow humans and other living things to endure despite becoming sick or succumbing to some disease. So ultimately, there's a lot afoot just with the simple title. I would expect it to not be about something simply human, but maybe something more futuristic. Let's find out. This is Tubeway Army. The track is We Are So Fragile, and it's a bonus tune included in an expanded folder for the album Replicas 1979.
We are so fragile, advertising lies that are whiter than yours. We are so fragile, they could give us a war just to keep us amused. We are so fragile, I could stay here inside and say it's all being done. We are so fragile, just pretend I never try to leave it up to you. We are still so young, and it must be wrong, but I do it all the same. We are really so shy, there's nothing I can do except believe in you. We could always go home, but everyone says this is the place to be. We are so unnatural, but you wouldn't understand, you only deal with men.
Feels like it could go on multiple more minutes, like a long interlude, and then come back for another iteration of the chorus. So yeah, sonically, a perfect example of what I've come to expect from Tubeway Army, which is to say post-punk or even, sort of 70s punk type of sounds and guitar mixed with keyboards and synth work that is very futuristic sci-fi movie type of sounding. We have exactly that here. I like the way it starts with that pulsing sort of 4 to the floor pre-techno type of beat, and then eventually and quite suddenly the gritty post-punk style guitar drops in, but we still hear some keyboards rising into the heavens behind it. Eventually I noticed that deep electric but gritty bass pad beneath everything. So yeah, a sonic composition speaking very much to what Numan did at this time, as I've come to understand. And there's still a solo album from the same year that I started, like a year ago, and then went back to the Tubeway Army stuff. So we'll eventually get back to the Pleasure Principle and see how it compares to what he was doing with Tubeway Army right up to the point where, he went solo, so to speak. Nevertheless, I feel like it's very much sonically what I would expect from them. Lyrically, it sounds like, saying that we're so young, speaking to age in terms of expectations and typical duration, but saying also that he'd, start over all the same if he had to do it again, and that others, maybe people who are more human, saying, was it not natural? There was some phrase where he was saying, like, it's not normal or not natural, you wouldn't understand, suggesting that he and whoever else he might be describing is distinct, whether that's, biomechanically from simple, regular, fragile biological beings. So the fragile element, I think, is very much in play self-directed, but perhaps as distinct from all the others out there, or the more antiquated, not the more futuristic. So be curious to hear what people have to say about this one, but I like this one a lot. Despite it being short, I feel like that was maybe like 2.5 minutes. A little bit longer, but under 3, 2:56. So yeah, it feels like it was a work in progress, a track that could have become something longer and a bit more significant, but maybe that's why it was a B-side or just not on the album overall. So again, thank you to Han Solo for sharing the Gary and Tubeway stuff, as well as others like Mark, and a number of people who commented. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.